Hello guys, so today we're going to be talking about all-wheel drive systems or four-wheel drive systems, or some people call it the auxiliaries of a vehicle. Now, you may have heard this in different ways, but what simply does it mean when you say a car is on four-wheel drive? Alright, if you look carefully, I am actually underneath a Toyota Hilux 2018 version, and we're behind or underneath the powertrain. If you look carefully, the engine is this way. This is the transmission or the gearbox, and here we have the transfer case system, and on this other end is where the propeller is connected. This is propeller that has been removed. Now this is the propeller all the way to the rear differential axle. Now if you look, something like this is also similar right here in front. There's something like that in front here, all right, that splits power to both wheels, this end and this end. Now why are we here? The reason why we're here is simple. We quickly wanted to explain how the four-wheel drive system works in the vehicle. Now, when you hear four-wheel, you may be surprised. Does every car not have a four-wheel? So does all cars not drive on four-wheel? And the truth is, all four wheels of your vehicle touches the ground, but not every vehicle drives on four-wheel. In a sense, drives on four-wheel. And what does this simply mean? We mean a car drives on four-wheel means there is power transferred from the engine to transmission and to each wheel of the vehicle to generate motion. For example, when you look at this, you see a shaft running from here down to the wheels. The same thing happens here. Okay, for the rear wheel, we have the same thing here. All right, there's a shaft running through this differential axle and then here. So for most pickup trucks like Hiluxes, they are on four-wheel drives. They are four-wheel drive enabled. All right. However, what we want to explain is how it works. So engine is generally the component of the vehicle that generates motive force. All right, all of the power that comes from the engine starts from that comes from the vehicle starts from the engine. I mean, so and that motion is not directly transferred to the wheels. It's actually transferred to the wheels through the transmission. So that's what you have, the transmission, just like the sounds transmit. So transmit power, rotational force from the engine to the wheels through the gearbox. This gearbox is this big assembly. This one you see right from here down to this section. It's what forms the gearbox. I don't know if you can see that. Right to this section is what forms the gearbox. From here down here. Alright? So, but beyond just being a gearbox like it sounds, it transfers motion, gives you different speeds. And then primarily, every vehicle has a primary wheel that gets motion. So for this vehicle, it is the rear wheel. If you look at it, from the gearbox, the immediate section where motion is transferred to is the rear. So generally, all vehicles are designed like this. We call it longitudinal engine position. Usually are rear wheel drives. All right, they are driven by propeller shaft. This shaft. Okay. However, this vehicle is also capable of transferring motion to the front wheels independently with the help of this man here. All right, it's called the transfer case. All right, with the help of the transfer case, just like it sounds, transfers motion. Okay. So the transfer case actually does a very simple work. It actually takes motion from the transmission and transfers it this way. And if you look here, you see a propeller shaft and it sends it to the front axle. The front axle rotates and turns this wheel and this wheel. All right, so that's how it works. So you can do that by carrying out different selection modes inside the vehicle. So you have things like you must have seen in your Hilux, you see 2H, you have seen 4H, you have seen 4 high, 4 low, things like that. So all of those selections is only possible by means of the transfer case to transfer motion to each wheels. So simply put, vehicles will usually just work in this way, and it will just generate power from the engine to the gearbox and then straight to the rear wheels. However, for four-wheel drive systems, which you need them when you are either stuck in the mud, you are in the icy or rough terrain, it will then need the support of your four wheels. And at that point, you have to select a mode on your interior of your vehicle. There's a mode you can select. You see 4 low, you see 4 high. All of those modes is to engage your four-wheel drive systems. So when you engage it, then what it simply does is telling you're passing an information to the brain box of your car that I need my four wheels to generate power individually so that I can get out of this position I'm in. That is a rough mode or something. So what happens is that when that mode is selected, let's say 4 low, means 4-wheel drive, low range. It gives you more torque than speed. So your car doesn't necessarily have to be on speed, but it gives you torque and grip for the tires. How does it do that? Now this is what happens. The communication is sent to this module, which is the transfer case module. It locks your transfer case and reduces the amount of speed that comes to, that is the gear ratio now, reduces, so that more torque is generated to both the rear wheels, that's for this propeller going to the rear wheels, and engages the front wheels also. So that way, this propeller also starts to turn when it's on 4 low. So that way you have these 2 wheels running, and then these 2 rear wheels running. So that's the way you engage the 4-wheel drive system. All possible because of the help of your transfer case for trucks like this. I hope that's clear and I hope that's simple. So yeah, that's what we're doing here.